I am Ray, and God did not send you here to be good. God sent you here to be free. So it's time to break the rules. I give you permission. You see, this is where a lot of religious people fall short. They try too hard to be good. But what does this do? Well, it just enslaves you into this rigid way of thinking. This little prison. And this prison is made up of beliefs and stories about what you think is right and what you think is wrong and how you should live your life. And if you don't follow this long list of should and should nots, well then you are not a good person. You're going to hell. Eternal damnation for you. Sorry. You will now be tortured by Mr. Mouse Chef. Monsieur Mouse. I'm coming for those cheeks. Not yet. We still have time. There's still time. You see this right here? This is why a lot of people, religious people, they struggle with shame and guilt. And fear. That is the consequence of trying too hard to be good. People who are truly spiritual will always be rebels. Because your authentic nature, who you really are, who you desire to express yourself as, it cannot conform to these rigid structures of belief. Are these useful? Yes, they can be useful to keep us from drowning in the ocean of chaos. But the problem with religion is it keeps you spiritually stagnant. So it can either be a channel, a vehicle to God, or it can keep you stuck. That which is truly spiritual is aligned with the truth of what we are. And what is religion often tries to deny what we are. Have you not heard of denial of the flesh? So let me get this straight, right? You were born a sinner, obviously, with all of these problems and all of this wickedness. And so right off the bat, you're fundamentally a bad person. You know, you didn't do anything yet, but you're a bad person. You were born bad. And the only way to be good is to deny yourself all the things that you want and all the things that you desire in this life. They're not good, so you have to repress those things and want these things over here. You see these spiritual goodies? You want these, not those. And you see, most of the problem is not with the religious teachings. It's with our silly interpretations of them. The thing is, you have hundreds of millions of years of evolutionary instincts that do not care about your silly little moral beliefs. They mean nothing. They will express themselves whether you are on board or not. Are you beginning to see? Like, for example, we all have a sexual instinct. It's not going away, ever, unless you're 95 years old. And even then, the sexual instinct is an immovable object. And yet, if we psychologically feel that our earthly desires are not good, then look at what we have done. What have you done? You have screwed yourself over perpetually, again and again and again. Because no matter what you do, no matter what you think, the sexual instinct is not going away. Your desire for earthly things are not just going to vanish randomly. So it doesn't make any sense to try to get rid of them prematurely. All that's going to do is frustrate you and actually destroy your life. It's a false morality. People often think they're doing the right thing by trying to get rid of these earthly pleasures or these earthly desires or their earthly nature. And I only want to fly up to the spiritual realms and be free. This right here, you see, this is why the Catholic Church is known for only a few things. Number 1, hoarding gold and treasures and secrets. Number 2, diddling. Surprise, surprise. Number 3, God. No, wait, not God, the Pope. Number 4, maybe God. All the spiritual stuff comes last. It's all earthly stuff. Power, gold, earthly riches, perversions. Why? Well, it's the perfect storm for evil to flourish. So first of all, you have these instincts, they're not going away. The instincts for power, the instincts for sexuality. Then you create a container of like the secret society, this exclusive place where they are in control of their own little world, which means that they can get away with doing whatever they want. Then number 3, they have this religious identity, this trying to be holy thing going on. And what that causes people to do, it causes them to repress their darkness, to repress their instincts, and that builds up pressure. And you build up more and more pressure until the instincts say, I've had enough, let us go do some crazy things. And you, as the little human being, will have no say in this. Therefore, the end result is a bad reputation. And it's the same all across the world. Have you not seen Islam? Why do women wear the burqas? I think that's what they're called, right? Don't crucify me or cut my head off, please. Peace be upon me. I'm not saying Islam is wrong or Muslims are bad. I'm saying look at the clear sexual repression going on. Sex is bad because the Holy Book told me it was bad. So we have to deny it and we have to repress it and ensure that we don't see no ankles. Because if we see some ankles, we're about to bust. And you could say the same thing about Christianity, probably. The Abrahamic religions are the most sexually repressed. But instead, on this side of the equation, when you repress your sexual instincts, they just come out as over-sexuality. Too much promiscuity. That is the problem we face in America. Both sides are imbalanced towards sexuality. Too much or too little, not good. Both are examples of how these religious beliefs screw you over and enslave you to the forces of darkness on accident. Not even because the religions are wrong, but because people are not wise enough to understand them. Everyone who lives their life from these rigid beliefs of what they think is true, it's like wearing a tight suit, putting a tuxedo on a chimpanzee. The chimpanzee just walking around and everyone's taking pictures. Oh, look at you, little cute monkey. You're so good. You're so nice. Let me take a picture. Meanwhile, the monkey is miserable. It's just sitting there like, well, I'm getting a little bit of love and attention, so maybe this is okay. But deep down, that monkey is thinking, you know what? I'm going to go and rip everyone's faces off. I'm going to go steal everyone's bananas. Then I'm going to go to a monkey orgy and have myself a ball. But what do the people do? They say, no, you can't be doing that. That is not good. And sure, there may be some truth to that. You don't want to have your face ripped off by a monkey. The point I'm trying to make is that if you don't express those instincts, it's going to happen regardless. You're just going to snap one day, and the instincts are going to take over, and you will do nothing. Do nothing about it. Because your instincts are stronger than the conscious mind. Have you not heard of addictions? That's what they are. Your body is taking over and saying, this is what I'm going to do, and you as the conscious mind will do nothing about it. Try to do something. And I think that this tendency for this psychological imbalance was unintended, but it happens because Western religion, at least Christianity, let's say, it's designed around the idea of duality, good and evil, light and darkness. And the good is the light, and the darkness is the bad. You have to get rid of the darkness. The darkness is not good. You want to be good. You want to go to heaven. You don't want to go to hell, do you? So it keeps us in this psychological drama, this perpetual struggle of trying to be better than we are. We repress our authenticity for this shiny ideal that does not exist. And then we kind of cope and say, well, Jesus was perfect, so I'm just going to follow him, do what he says. Which is great, but do you really think that God or Jesus wants you to struggle with yourself? Struggle with shame, guilt, and fear, and all of the negative emotions about not being good enough. The reason the Bible talks about being born a sinner, or that we all fall short of the glory of God, it was not to make you feel bad about yourself. It was for you to learn to accept yourself as you are now. Because this idea of trying to be good, trying to be the best, you'll never make it. And this idea that you are somehow going to make it just keeps this struggle in your mind alive. The whole point of that teaching was to just say, give it up. Accept yourself as who you are right now, and then strive to be better. But don't deny yourself in the present moment for some fantasy in the future. And you see, when it is said that God is good, it's not the same definition of the word that we often think. There's God's definition of the word, and there's the human definition of the word. The human definition of the word is light. It's positivity. You also see this problem in the spiritual community. Like, people try too hard to be positive all the time. And it doesn't work. If you've ever tried it, let me just repeat positive affirmations over and over again so I don't ever have to feel bad about myself. It's just a continuously repressing your darkness, repressing all that I don't like. That is what keeps you miserable. And you might wonder, well, I thought I was doing everything right. Why am I still miserable? It's because true alignment with God is balance. And the nature of God is heaven. So the less we are in balance, the more we are separated from heaven. The more we suffer. And what is balance? Balance is negativity and positivity together in the right order and the right proportions. It is not let me be good all the time. It is learning how to deal with your darkness and to deal with your light. And this is what people don't understand about God. It's like, well, God is only good from this definition. So why does God allow all the bad things to happen then? If God is all good, well, it's the wrong definition of the word. Goodness is not the absence of what is wrong, but the highest definition of the word is the balance between wrong and right, perfection and imperfection, light and darkness, positivity and negativity. A perfect example of the psychological imbalance. Just imagine like someone goes to Yosemite, the national park, and they see this big wolf rip apart a baby deer or something like that. Just eats it viciously. And that traumatizes them, and they're like, whoa, what? What is going on here? We can't be having this. That baby innocent deer just got eaten by a big wolf, a big bad wolf. The wolf is bad, the deer is good. We have to get rid of all the bad wolves. So they put together a whole community, get out the megaphone. We have to do this. We have to do this. Somehow they, magically are able to get rid of all the wolves, shoot them all, kill them all. Yes, we have succeeded. We have won. Good has triumphed over evil this day. And then what happens after that? Weeks go by, months go by. All the deers eat up all the grass. You didn't think about the grass, did you? The plants? Do they not too have feelings? To the deer, the wolves are predators. But to the grass and the plants, the deers are the predators. The wolves are the good guys. Really makes you change the way you see things, huh? It's just that plants don't have rights. Are you racist or something against plants? So eventually what happens? The deers eat all the plants, they ruin the earth. The earth becomes barren because of the imbalance. They eat all the plants, eventually the deer die, and all the other animals die as well because now there are no more plants. Because the wolves were keeping the prey animals in check from eating all the stuff. There was a natural balance by default. But human beings came along with their silly little notions of what is right and wrong, messed everything up. Now this is just one example, but this is what happens. This is why they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. We think we're doing the right thing because, well, that thing is experiencing pain, and that is causing the pain. We have to get rid of that which causes the pain. We're too attached to goodness, too attached to the light, and that creates massive problems. Now, let me be clear, because I know someone in the comments is going to be like, well, all of these evil serial killers and all of these bad people, what are you just going to let them do their thing or something? Who are you? bead man, and your beads. Who do you think you are? Disrupting the natural order of things is not the same as disrupting the imbalance that humans create. For example, you have a serial killer who's going around chopping people up. He's creating imbalance. Therefore, the right thing in that situation is to stop him, restore balance, because animals cannot create imbalance. Only humans can. So it's not the same thing. It's just a framework of understanding how we are too attached to what we think is right or wrong, and how we ensure that the wrong thing happens by creating imbalance. Because the imbalance in you simply expresses itself in the world and manifests as problems. Like, for example, let's say you have this identity of being holy or high and mighty, or maybe you just want people not to go to hell because your beliefs will get you to heaven, and all of those other heathens, well, they don't believe what you believe, so it means they're going to hell. So you have this religious or spiritual identity. And from this state, you go and try and convert other people. And 9 times out of 10, they just throw a big fat pie in your face because they ain't going to be having that. And that just reinforces your own, mission. Of course they're going to be doing this because they're heathens. They don't want to hear the truth. Not realizing that, the results that you're getting are a reflection of you, the cause of those results. The individual thinks they're doing the right thing, but does nothing but push other people away. Because people can sense that energy, that imbalance, and it's repulsive. Even if you're speaking the truth, it doesn't matter. It's like those people with the megaphones talking about repent or perish. It's like, great, whatever you're saying, whatever. Your energy that you're giving off is hyper repulsive. You're not serving anyone but your own ego, thinking that you're doing the right thing. And in fact, those people do the opposite of what they intended. They push people away from those ideas because, they are not good representatives of the truth, of the light. They are ignorant. Because if they faced their own darkness and accepted it and learned how to deal with it properly, they would be able to accept the darkness in others and not try to change them. And it is precisely that desire to change another person that pushes them away. Another practical example. Let's say you're a mom or a dad, and you have all of this life experience. And you have a strong attachment to that identity. You know what is right because you've gone through it. So you try and teach your children, hey, this is what is right. Stop doing this and do this. But because you're trying to change them, what do? They don't listen to you. They just say, whatever, old person, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to rebel against you. And that is what they do. They often do the opposite of whatever it is their parents tell them. Not because they're trying to rebel. It's because the energy that you give off when you're trying to change someone else is fundamentally repulsive, and people will do whatever it takes to retain their sense of individuality and say, I am free to do as I please. And if you try and change me out of spite, I will do the opposite of what you say. It's not conscious, it's unconscious, it's energy. So we have to escape this prison of ego identity, because it is that ego identity that creates all of the imbalance in our life. And you must understand how life will test you. It's never random. So you have some ego identity, some aspect, some personality trait of who you believe you are. It might be a religious identity, it might be as a parent, whatever. But this is just a tiny aspect of what you are. It's not the whole truth. But we often take that little identity and build our whole lives around it. So eventually, what does life do? Let's say you're really attached to a religious identity. I'm trying to be holy, I'm trying to be good. Life will come along and say, You think that is you, huh? Do ya? How about we do something that's the opposite and see how you like that? How are you going to deal with that? Life causes you to do something that is the opposite of who you believe you are, just to try and wake you up to the realization that that is not who you are. It is not honest. God does not like liars and hypocrites, which is what many religious people are. It is better to be honest and evil than to be a good liar, and those who are the best at lying are those who lie to themselves. So the identity says, I want to be only good. And life says, well, that's not true, that's not honest. So how about you do something bad? Just so you can be reminded that that is not who you are. And then what do? We say, no, I don't want this. I'm supposed to be good, I'm supposed to be good. Why am I doing this? God, please forgive me. Banish me to the shadow realm if need be. We get into the psychological drama of, I'm such a bad person, I'm such a bad person. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? When life is putting that situation into your life, into your experience, for you to wake up, not for you to continue mucking about in your illusions. And you will see the consequences of your illusions. The price becomes higher and higher and higher until you wake up. For example, if you struggle with an addiction, and you are also religious, you are going to have a lot of shame and guilt around it, because you're trying to be good, but there's a part of you that is not good, so you're trying to get rid of it. You do not accept yourself as you are, and that causes inner resistance and suffering. But the truth is, you would not be experiencing that addiction if God did not place it in your life for a reason. So there is no reason to feel shame and guilt and fear and worry about it. It's just your own ego nonsense. You're just betraying your ego identity, which is not you in the first place. Because that gives you the sense of, oh, this is me. This is me. When life is trying to say, no, it's not, no, it's not, no, it's not. And the more you try and run away from your darkness, from your bad side, the more it's just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger and grip your cheeks and do whatever it wants with you anyway. I'm not saying suddenly just go be evil. The point is, the more you try and be good, the more you will push away the bad. The more you're attached to the light, the more you will reject your darkness. You're living in duality. And the problem with this is that tension is created through opposites. So by rejecting your dark side, you are making it stronger because you're resisting it. And what we resist persists. Again, why the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You're trying to be good by rejecting your darkness, but the only thing that you do is make your darkness worse and destroys the good in you. Do you have good intentions to try to be good and holy? Of course. But who cares about your intentions if your results are wrong? That's the whole thing. The true way to actually be good from the highest definition is to neutralize your attachment to both the good and the bad. Because then you enter into wholeness and balance and align yourself with the image of God. But you cannot do that so long as you're attached to your ego identity of who you believe you are. These stories in your mind about trying to be good and having this long list of things that you gotta do, and if you don't do it, then you're a bad person. Keep the Sabbath on Saturday or you will be stoned to death, I promise. I've got about 10 pounds of some top shelf kush for you. You like smoking weed? You have broken the Sabbath. You're going to be so high, you're going to meet God. And you see why it's important to break the rules and stop taking things so seriously. Because when you stop taking things so seriously, you can finally accept yourself as you are. But the problem with religious conditioning, it's like, well, I'm going to go to hell if I don't run away from all of these bad things, if I don't reject my earthly nature and try to be holy all the time. So there's this perpetual threat of fear. And God did not give you the spirit of fear. This is how deeply ingrained most people are to ignorance. The best way that the forces of darkness rule your life is to get you to believe that you are doing the right thing, because you would not ever question escaping the prison if you believe you are free. And those who are most easily manipulated are those who refuse to face and accept their darkness. Because if the devil's right in front of you, you see what he's doing, but if he's behind you, you have no idea the influence. And you cannot look the devil in the eyes if you're running away trying to get toward the light. Because by default, if you're trying really hard to be good, anytime something bad happens, you're going to push it away. You're going to reject it. Because of that ego identity. Stop it. If you want to be free. If you want to actually be good, stop ruining your life. True spirituality is rebellion. Because that monkey at some point has to say, look, I get that this is supposed to be the right thing. I get that you think this is the right thing, but I don't feel like it's right for me. So therefore, I'm going to rip off this tuxedo. It's too tight. And then, whoa, something amazing happens. You feel free. You're no longer being constricted and smothered by all of these beliefs and these stories about what people tell you is right or what is wrong. You stop repressing your life energy, and you give yourself the grace to make mistakes and to be bad and to embrace your darkness. But you don't prioritize the darkness, you don't prioritize the light. You express yourself as you are. And whether it's good or whether it's bad, it doesn't matter. That's you. God already made you perfect. That is why these ideas of, well, you're just a born sinner, it's the most abhorrent, repulsive religious ideas. Because it's a fundamental heresy against the life that you are. You are already a perfect creation, as you are right now. That doesn't mean you still can't follow and love Jesus the Christ. Because Jesus the Christ was telling you, hey, if you look within yourself, you will find God, and you will find me, because me and the Father are one, and the only way to the Father is through me. Not Jesus the man, but through Christ in you. Christ is the doorway to the infinite ocean of bliss that is the kingdom of God. That is in you, remember. But as Carl Jung said, most of religion is designed to prevent an actual experience of God. Because if one were to actually experience God, they could no longer conform to the ways of the world. Because society, all of the order that we create in our little earth, no matter what it is, it's a construct. And you fundamentally cannot fit into some cookie-cutter blueprint and expect yourself to be free. No matter what, you will always suppress your authenticity to fit in with society. And the moment you return to your true authentic nature, you will naturally be a source of rebellion in the world. As Albert Camus once said, the only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Sums up about all of spirituality. Because society is going to tell you, this is bad, this is wrong, don't do it. The religions of the world, they're going to say the same things. And there are parts in you that will not conform to the world, to religion, to what anybody thinks. And you have a choice to make. You either suppress yourself to fit in, to make other people feel comfortable. Or you stay true to yourself and rebel against the world. You either rebel against yourself or you rebel against the world. And to rebel against yourself is the greatest heresy, because you cut yourself off from your soul and become an empty shell. You sacrifice the eternal for the temporary, and that is what it means to sell your soul. You sacrifice your dreams on the altar of practicality. You sacrifice the infinite abundance within you for some dead-end job at McDonald's. And you say, well, the economy's not good, so this is what I have to deal with. Not realizing that you are already given the kingdom of abundance by default. That is why I say the price of ignorance is slavery and death. And many people don't become free because they don't got the balls. Doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. They don't have the balls to question the stories that they believe. They don't have the balls to question their religion. They don't have the cojones to look at their parents and say, well, what if you're wrong in what you think? Doesn't mean you can't listen and hear the wisdom that they speak. It means you learn to think for yourself. And you look at society and you look at your friends. You look at what the school system tells you. And instead of just believing whatever they say, you stand on your own 2 feet and say, this is what I think. This is how I feel. This is what I believe. And I don't care what you have to say about it. This is what I like. This is what I desire. This is what I don't want. I don't care if you think it's right or wrong. I don't care if you're going to try and shame me. You don't trust the world. You trust life. Because the world will lead you astray. But life is always working out perfectly for you. It's always trying to take care of you, to help you grow and evolve. But it doesn't do that by only giving you love and light all the time. In fact, most of the spiritual growth comes from being in the darkness, being in the shadow, dealing with all the things you're trying to avoid, struggling with your problems, dealing with annoying people, not getting what you want. And most people sacrifice God for their own religious beliefs. They make idols out of their holy books and say, this holy book is the ultimate truth, and there's nothing more true than this. So they become slaves, pretending that they're good. I'm not saying there isn't great wisdom to be heard in these things. Of course there is. I'm not denying religion, and I'm not denying the holy books. I'm denying people's ignorance. That is, their attachment to their ego identity. Trying too hard to be a specific way and avoid being these other ways, instead of expressing yourself authentically as you are in the moment. Just look at children. What do? They are completely themselves. They don't care what you think. They're honest. They'll tell you straight up, hey, why do you look weird? Did you realize that you look weird? What is wrong with you? They make a mess everywhere. They jump on tables. They do all the things they're not supposed to do. And the parents think, well, why aren't you listening? I tell you to do this, you're not listening. And that's not true at all. They are listening to their instincts. They're listening to their true authentic self that is saying, hey, jump off the couch now. It is only the parents, the adults, who try to smother out their authenticity because they can't handle that amount of light. For those who are living in darkness, the light burns their eyes. They can't deal with it. As it was once said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about you shrinking yourself so that other people won't feel insecure about you. Now that's a banger, and I know bangers. I am Ray. Join the spiritual revolution, my friend. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just be.